This is the Jocko Underground Podcast, number 128. Sitting here with Echo Charles. And Echo Charles, sometimes in life, you have to commit to two things to make them happen, right? Sometimes you gotta commit to make it happen, make that thing happen. We hear this a lot, but you gotta be careful that you don't overcommit. All right. So I was training Jiu Jitsu today.
Hell yeah.
And I was training with Miha, and Miha kind of left his arm out. And it's weird. Even though I was going for his arm, I actually knew that I couldn't get his arm from this position, but I knew it was going to what I was trying to do is pass his guard. So I was kind of in a half guard scenario. He had a little butterfly hook type thing, and I'm trying to straighten out his arm. And what I was literally trying to do was distract him from his legs so I could finish the pass. And I overcommitted in a real big way to his arm, and so I was off balance, and he swept me, got on top. And he actually got on top in a terrible position, got me. Here's the thing. There are many times in fighting when overcommitment is a problem. So if you overcommit to a strike, it's easy to get taken down. If you overcommit to a takedown, you can get tired. Or you can get elbowed in the head, right? Remember when that was happening for a little while? People were like on the single and people were just dropping elbows to the side of the head and knocking him out. Yes. You can overcommit to a submission. And now you're gassing out. We've seen that happen. Oh, I got the guillotine, I got the guillotine, I got the guillotine, I got the guillotine, I got the guillotine. They got out of the guillotine and I'm getting punched in the head.
Yep.
So in fighting, this is very common. It absolutely happens in fighting. It can happen in other things in life too. Obviously, in business, you can commit. You can overcommit to a product. We can make thousands and thousands of these things. They're going to sell. No, you didn't do a test. You overcommitted. You overcommit to some marketing. You spend a bunch of money on marketing. Overcommitment. You can overcommit to hiring people. You can overcommit and hire too many people. Like, we really believe in this department's expansion. And you hire a bunch of people, and now you're going backwards financially. So you got to watch out for it there. Relationships, clearly. It's going to happen in relationships where you put too much, you invest too much into one person, too much time into one person, too much trust into one person. You get swept. Even time, you can commit too much time to one thing or another thing or something else that doesn't give you a return on investment that you need from that pursuit. So there's all kinds of things where we can overcommit. And as I started off, are there times when you have to 100% commit or even overcommit in order to make something happen? Yep, that does happen. You go for the flying triangle. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Go for a flying arm lock. It's a commitment. You go for the head kick against a wrestler. If you miss, you're probably going to be on your back getting punched in the head. Occasionally, does that head kick land? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Right? Kamaru Usman's a fantastic wrestler. But he committed to that head kick. Leon Edwards did and just dropped him. So he also could have been taken down. So are there times in the industry too, like, hey, we got to commit right now. We're going to invest this money in order to have the product ready as big as we think it's going to be. We got to commit to it, and you do, and you can win. You can also lose. There's an old saying: "Don't gamble what you can't afford to lose." I think that's a great saying. Don't gamble what you can't afford to lose. And that's why if you're let's say you're a great grappler, and if you and I are fighting and I'm better at jiu-jitsu than you are and I'm better at grappling than you are, I can throw wild strikes at you because when I'm striking you, it exposes me to a takedown, but I know I'm better once we're on the ground, so I can take a bunch of risk in getting taken down because it doesn't really matter to me.
You can afford to lose that.
Yeah, I can afford to lose and be on the bottom because I'm still going to get a sweep or get a guillotine or an arm lock or whatever. So there are times when you need to commit a lot, but be careful that you don't overcommit. And I think it's just like jiu-jitsu. You need to check your balance. You got to check your balance in business. Like, oh, if we overcommit here and it doesn't work, where are we going to be? Are we going to be bankrupt? Are we going to be missing our financials? Are we going to be upside down? Are we not going to be able to buy more product for a few? Or in a relationship, like, hold on a second, what if this doesn't work out?
Yeah.
What if I'm putting all this trust in this person and they're not as trustworthy as I thought they were? So you need to kind of check your balance so that you don't get out of balance. So then if that thing that you have committed some resources to, if it doesn't work out the way you want, you're still okay. You don't get swept and get caught in a bad position. Make sure that you have a plan and do a risk assessment to make sure that if the commitment that you made doesn't work out, you don't fall and get crushed. And if you can do that, it'll make life easier for you. And that's what I got. All right. Let's get to some Q&A.
All right, first question. I've been a listener of yours for about a year now, and I'm not trying to brag in any way, but I have applied your concept of extreme ownership well in many facets of my life. One facet, however, has been somewhat challenging for me. I'm 18 with a younger brother who's 15 and a younger sister who's 11. Recently, my family has faced some unexpected turmoil. It had been expected for about 2 years, but expectation could not even begin to prepare for this reality. Ultimately, my mother ended up in prison as a result of this whole thing. My family is not doing great, but better than expected. It's been about 5 months. My question is, how do I apply the concept of extreme ownership to a situation such as this? And how do I turn the situation around to benefit myself and my family? Thank you for your time.
Yeah, clearly that's a rough one. And the way that you take extreme ownership of this is how you respond to it. So how you respond to it, look, your mom did whatever she did, right, wrong, or indifferent, she's in jail now. That is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.